Are all sins created equal?
Yeah.
That was the comment we got, and we are here to not have the answer.
To talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Hello, and welcome back to the Croak and Crow podcast. I am Spencer Cartier.
And I am gold-plated.
Gold-plated? Yeah. Today is the 51st podcast.
Yes.
It's a good podcast number. We're coming off of another weekend. I know it feels like a Wednesday, but we're coming off of a weekend. We had another meme review.
Yeah.
Always nice and fun.
Yeah.
I think I was banned from the Reddit page for posting memes because I always am self-promoting my meme review, which I think is just doggone wrong. I'm giving you guys a platform.
Start your own.
More than that, I'm taking charge of this, and you are going to. It's mutiny, is what it comes down to.
They're trying to mute you. I'm being censored. It's mutiny, and I won't stand for it. Start your own collection. Like, tell people to give them to you, and then you will put them up.
Perhaps I will do that. Perhaps I will. But if you didn't see it already, go check it out. It's a good one. No van build this week.
Cold.
It's freezing. And yeah, I'm actually kind of glad that things aren't showing up on time because I don't want to be out there. Delay it till March, April. That's fine by me. I'll be meme reviewing in the meantime.
Delays potato chips.
Good. Nice.
What about Frankie?
This is Frank. I don't think do I need to introduce him every time? I guess so.
Well, we introduce ourselves.
Yeah.
And what's he wearing?
He's wearing
I meant his head.
Oh, we have not. This is the first podcast since the.
Yes, it's the painting.
If you remember episode 50, I did a little artistry.
Yeah.
I made a mask. You can't see it from that far away, but it's a nice little masquerade.
50 is the gambling episode because I don't even know if I'm putting numbers on them anymore.
Yeah, who knows? But little blue and yellow. What sports team is that?
I don't know.
Is that UNC? No. Is that LSU? No.
I don't know. But, okay, we've done enough chit-chat. We've chitted and chatted all we can. Yeah.
Now, my question to you, the only question that matters is what is the topic today?
Topic today is a question from a special viewer friend.
I think I know what it is.
Yeah. And it is, what was it?
Are all sins created equal?
Yeah.
That was the comment we got, and we are here to not have the answer.
To talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
I'm glad you picked that.
A sin is a sin is a sin is a sin, or do they have measurements?
I'm glad you picked. I'm happy you picked that, but I'm also upset you picked it for the reason when I saw that comment posted, it got me think. I was for once in my life stumped. I was like, I was ready to come out like I usually do, like quick answer, and then I was like, then I flipped, and then I flipped again, and then I flipped again, and I was like, what is the right answer?
Yeah. And
you can go.
No, I was just gonna say, I said in early podcasts that I Google stuff.
Big Googler.
I'm a Googler, and I'll Google things because if I'm really stumped or I really think, what do other people think?
Yeah.
But I did not Google this because I didn't want my own thoughts to be affected by what I was going to read. And so I just went with, the feelings on my heart. Yeah.
I was similar to you. I was like, let me think of this on my own because that's what I'm about. I like to think of things on my own. But then I looked into it just a little briefly before today's podcast. Actually, I was like, let me just look into this. And it was all like not what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay. That means I know I'm saying something good.
Most things are not what I'm thinking.
Yeah. So what do you think?
Well, when I was thinking about it,
the one time I
remembered that you on one of our podcasts you said that you don't even like the word sin.
I don't. I'm glad you brought that up.
So we can start there.
We can start there. All right. I'll take it because I thought about this.
Okay.
First off, I don't like the word sin.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. It just seems accusatory. It seems very negative.
Yeah.
And I don't think it should. Like, because I don't think, obviously you don't want to sin, but it's not as evil as you think it is. Because when you think it's so evil, you feel like you're being accused. To me, what a sin is, this is my definition of a sin. I don't care about your guys' definition. Is something you do that pulls you away from God, even the tiniest bit. So that's why it can be. That's why when I say gambling's a sin, I'm like, I gamble.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we said in the gambling podcast.
Yeah.
It's just like I know that I'm doing something earthly. That's like vanity. It's a sin. It's like, are you going to hell for looking in the mirror?
I thought you were going to say vandalism.
Vandalism, graffiti. I was in the park.
I'm for graffiti.
I was in the park and people like carve into trees their initials.
Yeah.
I don't even.
People still do that?
Well, I mean, they stay forever, so I could have been looking at trees from. But then I saw spray paint on a tree, and I'm like, just carve. Yeah.
Spray paint on a tree.
Yeah, I was like, just carve into it.
No.
I'm like, I don't touch trees, first of all. But like when I saw that, I'm like,
spray paint.
Yeah, that's what I was feeling. It's like when I see TJ plus
I don't mind it
LM.
on a wall or a stop sign or something.
No, it made me feel a certain type of way. I'm like, that's messed up.
Oh.
But no, what was I saying?
You said vanity and I said vandalism.
Vanity. When you're looking in the mirror, it's like, oh, vanity is, and that's when you get the word sin. That's like you get someone behind it saying, you're a sinner. Dress modestly. Do this. And if you look at it the way I look at it, which is it's just something that pulls you a little bit away. Like it's like you're not disconnected. It's just like an earthly thing. You're doing earthly things, and that's the way I think about it.
Okay.
So with that being said. Okay, let me try to get my brain working, my thoughts together. I think all sins are created equal. Now let me explain. I don't think... Oh, God. Okay, let me try it again.
Oh, boy.
I think
maybe I should have started.
No, I got this. All sins, in my mind, are created equal in the aspect of, on paper, what is a sin? Cheating, lying, stealing, adultery. They're all equal. Mm-hmm. But on a personal level, different sins can pull you further away from God than other sins. Let me explain. Murder. Cheating. What's worse?
I don't put numbers. I don't.
I'm saying like.
Because one is the law and one is God. And there is no difference,
Well, no, okay. I'm trying to make a point, so can you just be like the...
I'm not playing with you.
Frank. Frank, do me a favor.
You're gonna edit his mouth moving.
What's worse? Murder or cheating? Well, Spencer, I'm going to have to say murder. I mean, you're taking another life. Okay. But now you've got self-defense, saving lives with having to be put in that position. Or being a mogul and cheating your way to the top with tearing people underneath you, making them impoverished and stuff. You're going to say, well, in that case, I'm going to have to say cheat. It doesn't, the sin is not important. They're both sins. We know that. Mm-hmm. They both pull you away from God. But on a personal level, when I did that one sin, it didn't I was doing self-defense stuff. It didn't stray me away from God as much as, where in that instance, cheating was like I was stepping on heads to get where I wanted to be. And it's like you were drifting away more. So the sin itself is all equal. But individually, your one sin could be worse than the other, but not in any type of order, just of what is pulling you.
You mean to yourself? To
you and your relationship with God. That's what all it's about. Mm-hmm. I don't care if you tell me I'm sinning. It's about me and him. Like you have no right to say, oh, like that's the ultimate sin. It's like, so for what sin is not bad for how many times I sin and how you look at me.
Right. A
sin is bad because of how much you're getting pulled away from God, and you're living earthly. You're disconnecting that relationship. So, yes, individual sins I think are all the same, but it all comes down to what makes you stray further away, and to you that is worse than, lying on a math test. And it's like, did that really affect your relationship with God? Did that pull you in an earthly person?
Right.
Not so much.
Okay.
That's my thoughts.
My thoughts are that I think of the Bible story of the adulteress who Jesus came upon, who was going to be stoned in the town circle. And Jesus said to the crowd, whoever hasn't sinned can stone her. Whoever's without sin, cast the first stone.
Yeah.
Nobody could. And the crowd dispersed. We've talked about this Bible verse a few times. And for Jesus, he didn't say,
for anyone who's committed adultery.
For anyone who hasn't committed adultery, you are free to stone her. So in that verse, he told me that any sin was equal to any other sin. So,
Well, there's another Bible verse. Are we just going to be playing tennis with Bible verses?
Sure.
I think it's James.
Bible verse tennis.
Could be James.
Mm-hmm.
And it was something, I believe it was if you have a thorn in your eye, worry about the log. Or if that person has a thorn in their eye, worry about the log in yours.
Splinter.
But then I might be saying two different Bible verses here, but there's a next part somewhere in the Bible that says, if you say, thou shalt not, what were the two things? Thou shalt not kill, or thou shalt not commit adultery. And you commit adultery and don't kill, you are still going against my word. Like, it was I probably butchered that.
No, I see what you're saying. Any infraction is an infraction.
Any infractions, like any going against the word is going against the word.
Well, if we're born with sin, it doesn't even have to do with actions, because if you're born with sin, you haven't really sinned. You were born with it.
And what does that mean? Born with sin. It goes to me. It goes into my head with my version of sin. I'm going to trademark that definition of sin. I'm sure people already use it, but it's mine. Where I say sin is just pulling you away from God. Because I always felt weird about that. You're born with sin. Like, what did I do? I'm a baby.
You've said that.
I'm a baby.
I think it just means that you're born into the world that's controlled by the devil. So like,
whoa, that's scary. You just dropped that bomb. It's not like we had a devil podcast. You just said we're born in a world ruled by the devil.
Yeah.
Oh.
Listen, you want to finish your thought? Because
I don't know.
Okay.
I'll finish my thought.
Go ahead.
I'm just gonna sit back and let you explain yourself out of that one. To me, with this idea of born in sin, it's like, oh, how is that possible? When my definition of sin is things that pull you further away from God, we weren't born in heaven. We were born on earth. And so from the start, we were further away from God. Like, we're living an earthly life. You're born as an earthling. And so you already have that start.
Earthling.
Earthling.
In fact.
Earthling.
I always do robot.
Earthling. Phone home. You're born on earth. And so you already have a disconnection. Not disconnection. You're always connected. You guys know what I'm saying. You're already away from God on this earthly plane.
In a sinful place.
Okay. We're going to get to your we live in the devil's playground.
I'm surprised you're acting confused. Because earlier when I said to you, why can't we eat anything we want and not get fat? You said, because it's not heaven. You're here to learn. So like you admitted we were in a proving ground.
Yeah, but like everything we eat doesn't turn to ashes in our mouth.
All right, let's not get off track because I already think people are confused.
Yeah, so that's my born in the sin. It's just we're on earth. When you're on earth, it's meant to be. You need to strengthen that. Like God's up there, He's everywhere. But you know what I'm saying. And so that's how you're born with initial sin, and any sin or good thing after that either pulls you closer or pulls you further away. It's a little game of tug of war. Yeah,
it's and also Jesus died for our sins. Once again, it's a blanket statement. It's not Jesus died for the people, but not for the murderers. Okay, so the little thing I threw out there that the devil is in charge of the world. There is a Bible verse. Now it's my turn to return the serve.
Venus and Serena Williams out here.
Okay, way to go. And there is a Bible verse, and it's in John, I'm pretty sure. And it's talking about sin, and it says that sin is sin, and it's, you're going to be saved by Jesus from your sin. And they dropped this little bomb, and they said, there is one sin that will cause death, but we're not going to talk about that. Just just
be aware.
No, don't even worry about it. Like it was saying, like, I'll look it up.
Of course I'm going to worry about it.
I'll put it in the description. For whatever reason, in this Bible verse of John, it said, don't worry about it. We're talking about sin for you guys, and it's encompassing here. And Jesus died for your sins. Or no, he didn't die yet, I guess. But anyway.
So what was the sin?
Never told. It said you don't need to worry about it. It's something different.
You sure this actually happened?
And it will take life. This is my thought. I don't think it had to do with, you just talked about earthlings. And okay, so we really are going so deep and wide out right now into the universe.
We're floating in the ether right now.
I do believe that there are beings that aren't children of God, that aren't earthlings that are walking around, and they are mentioned in the Bible if you put your peepers out.
We're talking about aliens right now?
No, not aliens, like
demons?
Demons.
That are like flesh?
Amongst us.
Flesh and bone?
Yeah, like, well, for far as we know. And I wonder if this is too deep for this audience.
I think it's too deep for me.
And I think he was saying, like, I'm not talking to you, the human race, the earthlings, the people who I'm talking to, that you're protected. You're the children of God. You're the sheep, and he's your shepherd. You're going to heaven. You're living this life. And for you will, we talked about the other day. You can't take more than, you won't be exposed to more than you can handle,
yeah,
type thing. It was an assurance of that. It says it in the Bible. It says, there is one that caused death. I'm not going to talk to you about that. So that's why I don't like the pastors who tell their beautiful earthly children of God, the little sheep in the chapel, you're going to burn in hell. And then they fill in the blank. What sin is going to cause that person to burn in hell?
Yeah.
No,
and that, that's my biggest thing. And that's why I get so confused at these people who condemn like certain sins. You see people with signs say, you will burn in hell. And it's like, as a Bible reader, how many times, like, it's not like what you said, like, there's this vague thing, and Jesus could have said, worry about your own self, like, worry about the log. It wasn't that person is a speck in their eye, worry about the speck in your eye. It was worry about the log in your eye, dude.
Yeah.
And he has,
yeah, like, I get, when will you remember if I go off track for a second?
Yeah, I'll remember.
Okay. No, I just know, like, in school, and like you would, one of the students would tell the teacher, like, but what if this and what if that? And the teacher was like, I guarantee you will not have enough time to worry about what you're worrying about.
Yeah.
Just do what I told you to do.
Yeah.
So it reminds me of that, of Jesus being like,
yeah,
don't worry about it.
And it's like, yeah, so many times in the Bible, yet people still are condemning people. And so I think one of the reasons to know, and like back to what I said of, can you do a sin that's worse than another sin? Yeah, but it's personal, because that pulled you away from God further than that did, or whatever. The biggest reason of saying that is deeming what's good and what's not is controlling other people. If I sit here and say, okay, well, murder is worse than that, I am becoming the judge on it. Did like, it's not for us to decide what's worse and what's better. It's like,
yeah, and never mix up.
Don't get it twisted.
What I said in the beginning a little bit when you were talking. Legal on earth is way different than what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
If you spray painted the tree, or, if you shot someone in the park.
Yeah.
It's definitely not the same.
No, legality.
Yeah.
There are worse laws.
Yeah.
Harsher laws than others. No, we're talking about spirituality here. We're talking about people living
far beyond
the body
on the body.
on the body.
Yeah.
You could be You could be locked up forever on earth, and then you might go to heaven. That's what we're talking about.
Right.
There's a lot of things that you can do, and you'll be locked up for life. We're not talking about life.
And I'm wondering, in prison, if you feel superior to the, I only killed one person. He killed 6. Do you feel superior to your fellow prisoners?
In what, superior in what way?
I'm a better person than you are.
I don't think they're having morality talks
I don't think talks, but you don't think prisoners think in their mind, I'm not as bad as this one.
Well, yeah, no, I think that's the thing where it's like
humans do it.
Every prisoner thinks they're innocent because they know I can explain. Few people who've broken the law say, I'm crazy, I'll do it again. It's like everyone has a reason. I mean, there are some people like that, but those people are crazy. But yeah, I mean, everyone has a.
So, but the prisoner who says I'm not as bad as this guy because I killed 1 and he killed 6, is he correct in saying that? No,
then that's what I'm going with sins are not, or sins are equal, and then it's so any rationalization for yourself, it matters for yourself, but compared to other people, I could do a small thing and you could do a huge thing. But like I said earlier, you could, for whatever reason, it didn't pull you away as much as for me, where I just wanted to do it out of hate, out of anger. And you robbed a bank out of necessity. Now, I'm not saying that's illegal. You'll still go to jail for that. But there are people who they pray before they rob a liquor store. You know what I mean? It's like they need the money. Once again, you'll still go to jail. You don't do it, but
do you know the most popular alcohol it might be Pennsylvania, but it was definitely our county for 2020?
Are you asking me or are you telling me?
I'm asking you the question. We have our alcohol stores are controlled by
state-owned.
The state. It's a state store. We call it a state store. And anyway, the Pennsylvania, they put out, 2020 because it's, it was end of the year. And P.S. sales were up because of quarantine.
Oh, I'm sure.
But they told what was, and guess what? Far and away too.
I'm at the edge of my seat. You're just you keep.
I thought you'd guess. I was waiting.
Oh, wait, is it a liquor or?
It's a liquor.
A liquor. Most popular
that was
liquor.
Sold in 2020 in Pennsylvania, well, our county at least, but yeah.
Hennessy?
No, Tito's vodka.
What does this have to do with anything?
You said liquor store.
So I thought there was gonna be a spin on it, and you were gonna say St. Paul's gin.
I have ADD.
Now I completely forget what we were.
You said if you robbed a liquor store and you had a good reason to do it.
Oh yeah, you know what I mean. So nobody should be sitting and saying what's a worse sin. That's not for us. Like I said, we're the sheep. Okay. A sheep shouldn't tell another sheep it's worse if you do this and that.
Like if the one sheep said to the other sheep, "That's bad." It's the first day back.
It's the first day back.
Okay, you're lucky I'm not showing my 3 phones. Now, where is the book of sin?
The book of sin?
Yeah, I want to be a good person and I don't want to sin. And so I don't go to church. I need to know because I don't want to make any of the sins. And so I know the big ones, I'm not supposed to kill people. And guess what? I don't even want to kill people, but I don't want to accidentally sin. So where can I find this?
Well, that's why it gets tough. You're talking about the commandments?
I'm just being facetious, but what I'm saying is, do you make up, some people will say oh, I don't do that because it's a sin. You could even say if you don't pray before meals or if you, even if you look at porn, that's a sin. And it's okay, a lot of people don't think that's a sin. Mm-hmm. Where am I getting my information if I want to not sin?
Now, obviously you can look at the Bible, but then, it gets muddy, and I don't care what you people say, you Bible readers.
You're really being mean. Oh, not to our viewers, but to Bible readers.
To the Bible readers. Okay. I'm sorry. Let me caveat this with, I've read the Bible, as you know. Mm-hmm. But now with the meme review and just research in general, I'm on Reddit a lot, And so through the computer, I am interacting with Christians from around the world, and some
They're intolerant.
Some of them are so intolerant, and so like I said, I read the Bible. I'm a devout Christian, but you get comments like, "Did you even read the Bible in John 24?" Like if I wrote right now and I said, "Hey, all sins are created equal. What do you guys think about that?" I would just be bombarded with Bible verses of like how, I don't know what Bible you read, but you're obviously blah blah blah, and so it's a little draining.
And none of it said in the hopes of you experiencing the joy that they're experiencing. All of it said as bullets, like as shut up, you dumb idiot,
you stupid idiot,
stupid idiot.
Yeah. So that's why I might have came off a little aggressive at the Bible readers. I appreciate all the Bible readers, but they might throw a verse at me and say, "Oh, right here it says this is like what you shouldn't do." But in the Old Testament, you get commandments. You get a lot of commandments. Don't shave the hair in your temples. Don't eat this kind of meat. Blah blah blah. And then Jesus came and said, "You guys are worrying about the wrong thing." So the true book of like, obviously love your neighbor. Like that's like Jesus says that. Don't be a hypocrite. But beyond that, it's pretty like that's why did that woman committed adultery and he spared her. She sinned. That was a commandment, like one of the main commandments.
Yeah.
And he spared her. So then you start questioning, and then the point of Jesus being like, he never said it wasn't a sin, but he was like, you're not going to be condemned for it. So then it poses the question. It's like, where is the list of sins?
Yeah.
And you might find in the books Paul wrote, he might have written some things that like, don't do this, don't do that, but in reality, I think it just comes to a morality idea. And I think there's two places to find sin, I think, personally. And I'll give you the book.
Eighth and Butler.
What?
Two places to find sin.
No.
I was just going to name addresses.
I'll give you a book. Things like, so the main thing is you should love your neighbor and you should have a strong relationship with God. And so anything that goes against either of those things, I think, is a sin, right? So when you steal, you're stealing from somebody. Like that's why it's a sin. You're hurting somebody financially. When thou shalt not kill, obviously. And then with gambling and stuff, that pulls you away from God. So everything it comes down to, am I checking one of those boxes? Is this pulling me away from God?
Yeah.
Am I hurting somebody else?
Right.
And so it is pretty subjective. Like, and I think that's why we all say we're all sinners. We're all sinners. But it's why I don't like using the word sinner.
Yeah. Because
it's so frequent and nobody can not sin. So, but it just sounds so negative that I don't like saying that. It's like you can do 100 actions a day that, like I said, it's pulling you a little away, pulling you closer, like in your spiritual quest. It's like stocks. It goes boom, 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 boom. And so to demonize every single thing you do, right. It's detrimental to living your life. It's detrimental to your quest of being a holy person. And it's not about every individual sin. It's about overall choosing the right path.
When we were talking again about the Jesus and the adulteress, remember our cancel culture podcast?
Cancel culture.
What was your slogan?
Correct. Don't cancel. Correct. Don't cancel.
Right. And when he saved her from being murdered, when he was leaving her, he said, knock it off.
Now go and sin no more.
Yeah, like you're definitely I'm not going to have you murdered, but this didn't turn out well for you, did it? So just don't do it anymore. And I just feel bad, like I said, for people who are so worried about, am I sinning? Was that a sin? Yeah. And then I am for, we talked about confession before, Catholic confession, penance, where, you talk to, you unload your heart to the priest and then you and him just pray together. Yeah. But I do feel bad for the people who, they feel so upset. Like, I feel so bad that and again, fill in the blank. I shoplifted, or I I did see my neighbor needed help and I went in the house, or something even way worse. I was part of a crime, or even something that they might have been taught, I find in error, involving their sexuality or anything like this. And it's like just this guilt. And like, I just don't think, I know that that's not the life Jesus wants his children or, all of us to be living, is this kind of correct, don't cancel even yourself. Like,
yeah, and that's the biggest thing. And like, that's why I liked, when Jesus was like, oh, go and sin no more. And it's like, basically, because, Jesus, God on earth, he was like, you guys have nothing to say to her.
Right.
Like, don't even try. And then what is that? Between God and that person.
Right.
Of what to do. And especially when you get into these gray areas where it's like, is that even a sin, or are you just making it up? It's like, who are you? Like, God's up here looking at his little daughter down there and saying, like, and she's all so upset, like, oh, this guy told me I'm sinning. And he's like, oh, you're not sinning. Like, you're doing good by me. Like,
right.
And then there's the people that are like, hold on, God, JC, I got this.
Yeah.
You're going to hell. It's like, oh, you gotta get smacked upside the head.
Yeah. I was just thinking of it, and I was just thinking about how people are very hard on themselves. Jesus washed away our sins.
Yeah.
He made a very big trip and a very big journey, and lots and lots of
hurdles.
I fall into the trap a lot of times myself of saying, like, give me a sign and give me my faith and prove something to me. And then I always am like, not always, but like, I try to tell myself, like, how much does he have to prove himself?
Yeah.
He washed away your sins. So I might be with you in saying that the word itself is so condemning.
Yeah. It's part of the problem.
Yeah. And if we could just, he did try to simplify our journey. Jesus did that. Just be a good person, and you're definitely going to fail in so many ways, on so many days. Yeah. But it's okay.
Mm-hmm. It's okay.
Unless you do that one sin.
I'm going to look into that.
That causes death.
I have no idea.
But we're not going to talk about it.
Maybe if I look into it enough, we can have a podcast on it.
Yeah. And maybe you'll look at it and then you'll be like, that's not what it meant at all. Which I don't doubt that could happen. Well,
guys, today we want you to actually comment down below and let us know what you think. Because obviously this is all our thoughts.
But my final thought is that all sins are created equal.
All sins are created. We both agree. All sins are created equal. It's what we think. Let us know what you think down below.
Yeah.
Like this video if you liked it. If you didn't like it, please don't dislike it. It really hurts my self-esteem.
No. Today is unfortunately the anniversary. Yesterday was the anniversary of Kobe Bryant. And R.I.P. to him and Gigi. And he has a quote that says, "Bring the haters on. They only hate the greats."
They only hate the greats. Smash that dislike button, guys. Thank you. We'll be back tomorrow with something new. Peace. E.T. phone home.